Afternoon, everybody. This is the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage, and I'm making my latest video. I hadn't made one in, gosh, not quite a month maybe. Anyway, this is my latest restoration, and this is one of those Singer 66s that I have chosen to increase the power on. I have different ways that I do what I call upgrades to the machine, and I've chosen the 66, and it's smaller cousin, the 99, as examples of machines I'll do this for. And you can sew all sorts of fabrics with this machine. You can sew very lightweight fabrics. I have in the past, you'll see a lot of my 66s, I've done up to 9 layers of denim with these things. And I'm going to do some demonstration sewing for you today. But the 66 is the machine that I've chosen. When I do my upgrades, I really like to do it for that machine, or the 99, which is its smaller cousin. At least it's not quite as wide. The 66 is a machine that was put in production by Singer and built for over a half century. This is one of the later versions of it. It has reverse, which the early ones did not. This particular one that you're seeing today is a centennial version, and all that means is the little emblem on the front here has a special note that it was celebrating the 100th anniversary of Singer way back in 1951. So, but functionally it sews just like all the other 66s. But I've increased the torque on the machine, and it was already more than powerful enough for most of you. But I do get people who want to sew outdoor umbrella fabrics, you know, heavy tarps, and people have all sorts of projects that they want to work on. And I currently have this machine set up, and this one, in particular one, comes in a case. Sometimes they'll come in tables. This one I have available in a carrying case. You can put this in any Singer sewing cabinet, but sometimes I get customers who really want a cabinet, and then other people say, you know, I just really want a case to store it because they want to store it somewhere different. So all of you guys have your preferences, and so I try to offer a variety when I can. I'm going to do some sewing today and demonstrate the performance of the machine for you. I'm here in the sunroom, and I've got, this is a piece of a cargo pant. And with cargo pants, you know, you get lots of these thick, dense seams, not unlike you would in, say, blue jeans, and you can see all the folds. Let's see if I think this is showing. You see all the different layers here. And that was just from the pocket of a cargo pant. And I just thought I'd do some sewing for you guys. I'm going to be making more videos soon for delicate fabrics. I show almost all of my videos with big needles. This is a size 16 needles. And I do that because so many of my customers really need to sew heavy, they have heavy projects. But I want to make sure I remember those of you who actually don't. Some of you do need delicate sewing, and I'm going to make some videos for you because these machines were designed to do both. So I'll start. And again, I can slow my needle down if I want. Singers are known for wonderful needle control. And I can speed her up. And you'll notice the machine is going right through all of this dense fabric, and it doesn't even hesitate. And you would think with modern machines, they have so many features that the new home sewing machines that you buy, the plastic ones, you would think that they could do this and more, but they can't. They're fairly weak. And again, just like with anything, always make sure your material is going to be going underneath your presser foot, and it goes right through. So I'll show you guys some of the stitching here. See if it'll show. I've got white thread and I've got sort of this khaki color, but I think it'll show, at least in this light. And you can see it's just going right over. Let's go to the other side so you can see what's going on here. Here we go. And you'll just see, like I say, the tension is great, and it's just remarkable what the machine will do on something that dense. And I'm going to add another layer, and again, this is another part of the cargo pant with another seam. And I'll just put that right over the top, and let's see here. And I'll just sew through yet another layer. All machines have limits, but you can really, a lot of you are not going to sew stuff this dense, but you know, why would you buy a vintage machine over a new one? There are many reasons. One, the vintage machines are a lot easier to care for. And two, they just have so much more power. The 66 was a machine that was used by people in the city, but also people on farms. And you had to be able to sew everything from baby clothes to window treatments. I mean, there's a lot going on there in the American home when these machines were sold. And the flexibility they have is just incredible. I don't know if you guys can see me doing this, but I'm actually making a little U-turn here. Singer straight stitchers are known to, they have narrow feed dogs, and they give you the ability to do what I just did there if it's something you need to do. So I'll pull this back up. And now you guys can see the latest stitching. I mean, the stitches are beautiful. And again, this is, the machine's not complaining at all. It seems to have the power. Now today, normally for heavy fabric, I would use a jeans needle. And when you guys have seen me sewing denim on the other 66s I've demonstrated, what you have seen is a jeans needle. And those are great for thick fabrics because they resist breaking a little bit better. But I have actually, what I've got here right now is a Schmetz leather-tipped size 16 needle, and that's because I wanted to sew leather for you guys today. And I don't always have the leather-tipped needle in there. It's something you should always use when you're going to sew leather projects. But I demonstrate so many different fabrics at times. I usually have to go with the needle that I'm sewing with at the moment. Anyway, here's some leather I've been doing test stitching on. You can see this is 2 layers of, let's see if I, yeah, 2 layers of garment leather. I'm going to go ahead and add a few more. And if any of you have questions about this machine and about if you have specific leather projects, contact me. And I, like I say, it depends on the kind of leather you're going to sew. Because leather needs to be tanned in a way that makes it soft. Because I'm sewing leather, I'm going to start with my needle down into the material. You should always do that because leather has a density that makes it easier for the machine if you begin this way. And it's just sewing through 3 layers of garment leather, and it does not mind at all. Come back. I can go faster than this, but as you guys hear me, I sound like a broken record. When you're sewing anything dense, you really want to, go to medium pace, but don't go too fast because your needle will not be able to handle lightning fast sewing when you're dealing with heavy material. So here's 3 layers of garment leather. And like I say, it's sewed right through. This is the suede end, and the tension in the stitches are great. It's kind of hard to see stitches on suede sometimes. So now I'll go to the other side. I'll cover the suede side with yet another piece. And this is going to be 4 layers of garment leather, guys. And, it doesn't look as thick as the denim, but leather has a density that's different. That's why this leather tip needle is going to be helping me out. So we'll get this under here. And you'll notice I still have clearance under my foot, and that's important. Because I don't care how powerful your sewing machine is, even if you're sewing with a true industrial, if you don't have room under the foot and you try to move material underneath, you're going to have problems. But like I say, this is well over 1/4 of an inch of leather, and it's sewing just fine. So again, I'm going to start with my needle down. And just guiding it right through. Singers are known to be machines that you sometimes want to spool or jump start. They were engineered that way. In this particular project, the machine seems to be doing it on its own, but I always am aware that with a Singer, you may want to have your hand on the wheel when you first start. And that's just that's an engineering feature that was built into most Singer machines from the vintage era. I mean, those are really incredible stitches. You do have back tacking. For those of you who sew leather, you might not necessarily do reverse stitching. Sometimes you like to do those by hand. At least people who sew leather tell me that. And I've got another piece. Now this piece of leather is a little more dense, but it's still, notice I can still bend it, okay? It's not just the thickness of leather always, but sometimes it's the actual stiffness of the leather that will determine your success. So if you guys are out there and you're going to be making holsters, like for knives or knife sheaths, I shouldn't say holster, gun holsters or knife sheaths, you really want to make sure that the leather you're using is flexible. If it's very stiff, you're going to need a specific industrial machine. In fact, most industrials will not sew that material either, but I don't know of any new machine that can handle the materials the way these vintage models do, particularly the upgrade versions of this 66. So I'm going to take this is again the thicker, heavier of the leathers. You can see I've been doing a lot of stitching on it already, and there's plenty of room. And I've got 4 layers here, but 2 of those layers are a little thicker than the other leather I was sewing for you guys. And she just sews right on through. And again, using about moderate speed. The machine likes to sew this material, but again, your needles, and this is a leather tip needle. I'm using the correct needle, but you've really got to give the needle time to do its thing, particularly with leather. That's even more true with leather. And as you can see, if you focus on the stitches I've made here in the center, where you can see these extra layers, beautiful work on this machine. If you guys have questions, let me know. If you would like to set up a time, this is going to be posted onto Craigslist. If you'd like to set up a time to come and see the machine, do some test sewing on it, I obviously have materials here. You can also bring your own material, which I think is always best if you have an idea of the project you're going to be working on. And if you are new to sewing and you've never touched a sewing machine before, many of you who contact me have not, it's okay. I can show you how to do some testing on it, and I can run it for you. So don't be afraid to look into a sewing machine from this era, because they are remarkably easy to take care of, and they are, I call them heirloom quality. So having gone through the machines, gone through basically every system on the machine has been taken apart, examined, cleaned, and lubricated. And for many of these machines, you need that to have, you really need to have that done before you start to use them, because many of them have been sitting for years. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you have questions or comments, just let me know. Thanks.